Our third story out front, what looks to be a deadly police beating caught on tape, but now family members of the man who died are fighting for access to the video and the audio taken by bystanders at the scene. David Silva, the father of 4 young children, died after police say they were responding to reports of possible public intoxication and that the 33-year-old resisted arrest. Stephanie Elam is in Bakersfield, California. And Stephanie, attorneys for the Silva family have surveillance video of what is allegedly the beating, but they say that there's better video out there that's now not accessible. What's the story with that?
Exactly, Aaron. If you take a look at the surveillance video, you can see it's grainy, it's a little bit far away. But what they're really interested in seeing are these 2 cell phone videos that were taken. We know that there were at least 2 that were either taken or confiscated, depending on who you talk to, by the police so that they could take a look at them as evidence. They're saying, the police are saying that they will get these phones back to the judge, who will then get them back to the people who own them. But what's at issue here is whether or not it was okay for them to take those phones in the first place. In this case, where a man reportedly a call came in saying that there was someone who may be drunk out here on the street. They showed up, 1 deputy with a K9, and then we know another deputy came in, and then on top of that we know at least 2 CHP officers were also on the scene as well, Aaron, to assist in this. And so some people around here think that it was just too much force in a case of just 1 man, Aaron.
And obviously, with saying, look, we're gonna confiscate that video, makes it even more difficult to figure out what happened. What kind of area is it where it happened, Stephanie? I mean, were there a lot of people there that would have seen it or no?
Well, keep in mind that this happened at around midnight. It was close to between midnight and 1 a.m. when this happened. And on the side of the street where we are, it is homes. There's apartments over here. But behind us, that's actually the Kern Medical Center. That is where David Silva was taken after the incident that occurred here right on the corner. So because of that, it was in the middle of the night. The sounds are what woke people up. In fact, we talked to one witness who did not want to be identified. Listen to what he had to say. What did you hear the man on the ground screaming? What was he saying? Do you remember?
He was asking for help. He was screaming with pain, and he asked for help. He only got to ask for help like 3 times, and after that, I'm pretty sure he didn't recall like nothing, like, cause those hits were brutal, you know.
So now, the other thing here is that the lawyer for the Silva family, they've now hired a lawyer. He says that there may be a history of intimidation here in Kern County, California, and that's one thing that they're looking into as well in this case, Aaron.
The Kern County Sheriff's Department turned the tapes over to us today. Our first chance to hear what witnesses were saying just moments after David Silva was restrained by several sheriff's deputies. He died shortly after that. Take a listen to the tape.
Kern County Sheriff's Office, how can I help you?
Yeah, your police officers over here on Flowers, and I think it's Palm. What is it, Mom? Palm. There was a man laying on the floor, and your police officers beat the shit out of him and killed him.
The caller continued, saying the man had been unconscious, not breathing for at least 20 minutes. The caller says she had videotape from when the sheriffs first pulled up to when she called 911. She added she was right in front of where it all happened, and the sheriffs didn't have to do what they did.
You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sheriffs. The guy was laying on the floor, and 8 sheriffs ran up and started beating him up with sticks. The man is dead, laying right here, right now. And I got everything on videotape. The man was not doing nothing. These cops had no reason to do this to this man.
And he asked for help. He was yelling for help. He was begging for help. No one came because the people that were supposed to help him were the ones killing him.
Animals. That's what they portrayed to be to me, because that's what they acted like.
That's how Jason Land describes the deputies he saw Tuesday night.
They jumped out, reached for their bats, poles, whatever you want to call it, beat that man till they killed him, right in front of my face.
While sheriff's officials investigate a suspect's death in their custody, more questions are raised about what happened after that incident.
A witness we interviewed asks why he was arrested a few hours later, and a family asks why their cell phones were seized. Reporter Carol Ferguson has the latest.
Well, today we talked to the attorney that family hired. That lawyer was also contacted by the eyewitness we heard from yesterday. This all happened across from Kern Medical Center at about midnight on Tuesday. Officers say the suspect was reportedly intoxicated and he fought with the officers. They used batons to restrain him and he died later. 2 family members got cell phone video, and detectives arrived at their home a few hours later demanding the phones. Attorney John Teo says protocols must be followed. He questions why it took so long to get a search warrant and keeping the family in their home for hours till the search warrant arrived. Melissa Cuellar says her family wants the video to be available, and that's what they told officers.
We told them we weren't going to give them our phone. And they told us that it was evidence, and pretty much my house was a crime scene because we had the evidence.
I think they felt that they could intimidate these people in giving them their phones without the search warrant. And now they're holding the phones, and there's no reason to.
What are we supposed to do when we're witnessing a sheriff, police officer, whoever it may be that's, works with the law, committing a crime like this, man? Who do we call?
He called Eyewitness News. Even before being interviewed, Jason said he was afraid of going on camera. After speaking up, he said he felt like he was being followed by deputies. He couldn't stop thinking about what he'd seen Tuesday night.
So what are they going to do to me? They do the same to me. I ran.
He said he ran to the nearest friend he could find, who drove him to the hospital.
If I wouldn't have said nothing, I wouldn't be in cuffs. But since I said something, I'm in cuffs.
The 31-year-old, who's on felony probation for domestic violence, says he was arrested for being under the influence of PCP.
Under the influence of PCP, no test, no nothing. I was not under the influence of anything. I was scared for my life. I was paranoid.
Now he says he's being targeted.
I believe I'm going to be targeted for the rest of my life.
Land was released today and says he'll go home to his family.
I'm hiding. That's what I'm going to do. I don't trust outside. When the people that's supposed to protect me for people that do that without badges, the badges will do it too. Good. Can't do it.
He thinks there should be some consequences.
They deserve this. They don't deserve death, because I'm not God. I don't believe anybody deserves to die. But to be taken away to where they won't be able to do that again to anybody, they got the wrong one and cut.
Jason also said that he felt like there was an extended period of time between when he saw the man beat up and when the ambulances ultimately arrived. In studio, Tom Murphy, Eyewitness News. Caitlin, back to you.
Thanks, Tom. And we have more now on the man who died in custody, David Silva. We heard from his father last night. Today, Eyewitness News reporter Courtney Bryant spoke to Silva's brother. Courtney?
That's right. David Silva's brother, Christopher Silva, is in mourning, but that has not stopped him from speaking out. He says his brother was murdered at the hands of those who should have been fighting to save him. David Silva is survived by 4 children, ranging from ages 2 to 10. They haven't yet learned of their father's death, but when they do, Christopher Silva wants them to hear the right story.
I don't want them thinking or being told that my brother was just a bum on the street laying face down in the pool of his own blood. He was much more than that, and if anything, I want them to be able to know that their father meant a lot to a lot of people.
Christopher Silva says the memory of his brother will encourage him and his family to fight for justice.
And he asked for help. He was yelling for help. He was begging for help. No one came because the people that were supposed to help him were the ones killing him.
As the coroner's office is conducting an autopsy, the family has not yet been allowed to view the body. Christopher Silva says all he wants is to say goodbye one last time.
All I ask for is to see my brother's body. I want to see what they did to my brother before anything is kind of hidden, before anything is made up. I don't want anyone else to see. Just let me go in there and let me see my brother. The coroner's office says an autopsy has been conducted, but results have not yet been released. We will, of course, be sure to bring you the latest as this story continues to develop.